Now, although I know that I am the awareness that is simply lovingly aware of this state of consciousness, still, to be honest, maybe not so modest. Right now, I'm in a mood, we could say a mode of nature. Aware that currently, along the tree of life, right now my awareness is in a mode called grind, where there's discipline of mind via activity. Practically, hustling, grinding is about garnering solar energy, personal power, willpower, the solar plexus, solar energy. Because when there's a certain intensity, we can learn to sublimate and transmute that solar energy and raise it upwardly. Next, into the heart space, bhakti, devotion, serving all of life. The truth is all inclusive. Serving all of life with a heart sense, warmth, and feeling of devotion. And sometimes that devotion is devotion to the grind, devotion to staying grounded and embodied, aware from within a physical vessel. Although I know this is not my identity, still practically daily functionality in earthly reality requires that we embody our God-given divine energy, which of course is at the top of the tree of life, actually outside of the physical body. The river of light, the tree of life. As this energy pours into us, the manna, the bread from heaven, upstream in the river of light, as we embody life on this planet, with the continuous awareness that our ultimate goal is full enlightenment. Not half enlightenment, not half-assed, full enlightenment. And on the way to that ultimate goal, we have an earthly sojourn in which there are challenges and seeming obstacles. And it's the degree that we can let go and surrender to this higher power that is always with us, yet paradoxically, simultaneously, through that process of surrender and letting go, we're building personal power, this, we could say, masculine solar energy. Because in order to accomplish anything in earthly reality, we have to have power behind our actions, whatever we do. And sometimes the hustle, let's say going to the gym, the hustle is not just about building muscle. That's very superficial. Sometimes it's simply grinding for the sake of getting after it. Just simply doing it with no outcome in mind. Not being outcome oriented or result oriented all the time. Of course, it's good to have goals and an aim and a direction, something to look forward to and aim at, so that we can channel our energy in a certain direction via intention. Intention is very powerful. We don't want to be drifting. We talk about semen or tension. The enemy of celibacy is an idle mind, idle time. And it's not to say that simply sitting in stillness and silence is a bad thing. Actually, it's a wonderful thing. The bliss of meditation, the joy of meditation is wonderful. But right now, it's about balance. And it's kind of like food, right? You don't just eat compulsively. You don't just eat, oh, it's lunchtime, it's dinner time. No, you have to earn that energy, that food, that gross, physical, tangible energy, which ultimately is spirit. And as we ingest it, we're transmuting it into spirit, into solar energy within us as we embody this, the presence, the sun, in alignment with the circadian rhythm, harmonious with existence itself, the eternal process, which is continuous, never ending. And the degree to which we realize this subjectively and intellectually, mentally, our priority becomes being in flow state, we could say. Whatever we're doing, whatever the activity, always flowing. Not swimming against the process, the course, the way, but flowing with it as we obey what God has to say to us today. My child, go this way, that way. Okay, Father. Or perhaps your conception of God is Divine Mother. Whatever your concept, realize that God is ultimately beyond all concepts, beyond all imagination, conceptions. But so long as we're dreaming, and let's just say, my brother or sister, whoever is watching this, it's an honor to be dreaming this wonderful dream with you. I said that to someone the other day, and they said, hey, that's the best compliment I've gotten. She said previously a comment to me that I said, that's the best compliment I've ever gotten. She said, I would love to live in your brain for a day. Now that's, I'm not easily flattered, but I was flattered by that. Actually, there's a video on here. When you can't be bribed or flattered, for pleasure is now or never. And so, when you can't be bought, when your soul doesn't have a price tag on it, when how do I want to word this? Discernment. Every thought to be chiseled with every word spoken. Of course, there's the flowing, life-giving energy in back of it. However, to also appeal to the understanding mind, we want to realize that the intellect can only understand so much. It can't touch the subjective dimensions of the human experience, what we can access within our own consciousness, which we can always access. You see, if anyone is talking about a heaven that isn't right now, I guess it depends on what they're saying, but in the context, of course, because words only have meaning in context, but within my experience, I realized that actually I can access, and I say I mean we can access heaven right now within our own experience. You see, heaven or hell is something that we make for ourselves based on our choices, our daily decisions, which in the process of time, there was a compound effect. We could say our natural selves develops a certain rhythm. And if we're not careful and conscious and aware of this rhythm, it can become hypnotic. Hypnotic. Or compulsive. We're just doing stuff and without even being aware of the intention and the energy, the spirit in back of it. Whereas when we're aware of this rhythm, it's a completely conscious process, and there's nothing more miraculous in existence than a human being who is awakened to this eternal process. And again, how should I word this? Realize that some of the most profound things that can be said don't involve big words and big language, but they're actually very simple. So how to articulate the subjective realms and bring that into our linear language system to communicate that which is beyond language, but yet use language as a bridge to connect the inner and outer, which actually can never be separate. Realize that everything is perfect. It's all perfect as it is. There is no coincidence or chance in existence. Whether or not we understand it, just think about this. How many times have there been that epiphany, that aha moment? Maybe you don't believe in epiphanies. Whether you do or not, I'm sure you've had a moment where something's clicked, where you didn't understand why something was happening at the time. And then later on you said, oh, that's God, thank you for putting me through that. So I had to learn that lesson. I'm glad that's behind me now. I'm glad that's the old man. As said biblically. There's the old man, the past self, and there's the new man. And the new man doesn't look back. There's this wonderful Boston song, Don't Look Back. Boston, the band, that whole album is classic. True form of art, music, touches the soul. And when we talk about the soul, there's actually nothing to fundamentally control. When we let go of all control, life, God simply is. And I think back to the beginning of this video, as I'm going to the gym as soon as I hit stop. Just that grit to get after it. No reason, not looking for a result, anything, just simply for the sake of it. Doing it because you love it. I love getting a good sweat in. Not because I'm trying to accomplish anything, just because I love doing it. That's what this piece of life loves to do. And I know there's something that you love to do, that perhaps there may be some resistance. And this is part of the challenge of the spiritual process, is overcoming inner resistance and not procrastinating on what you know you should be doing. And I'm not perfect as far as this is concerned. Because if I was, I think subconsciously we all know that when there's no more challenges, say you reach the ultimate peak at the top, there's no where to go, no room to improve. You did it, you made it. There's no more challenges though. What's the incentive to keep going, to keep living, to keep growing? You can't keep growing because you're already there, right? But actually, retirement is an illusion, because you can't retire in eternity. Think about it. Your job may end, but eternity never ends. So you can't retire from life. And when I talk about surrender, as I said in the last video, surrender doesn't mean give up. You can surrender to the source of life, but not give up on life. If that makes sense. It does within this context. I realize it may not appeal to your analytical, logical mind. Anyways, it's about that time. Now, simply realize that you're only subject to what you hold in mind. And then nothing worldly can touch you, can faze you. Because you're a living embodiment of the truth. And the truth always wins. And so I grant. Winning is not about beating somebody or doing better than someone. Because when you live life in comparison and in competition, it's very superficial. Success is an inner process. It's being in tune and in touch with the source of existence. Because that's something that nobody, nothing can take away from you. And that's why knowledge is power. Knowledge is value. Because nobody can take it away from you. You know what you know. And so, I shared this video